Say what? Go to hell? All right. I don't mind if I do. Because in hell you will suffer, and in hell I will rule. On today's Czar's Top Shelf, we're going to be listening to In Hell I Will Rule from the second Briton Rites album of 2020, Occulte Fantastique. Briton Rites' debut album, Former Kala, is kind of like an underground doom metal classic at this point. But for some reason, I don't hear too many people raving about Occulte Fantastique. And it's kind of strange to me because, in my opinion, it's a much better album. There's nothing wrong with Former Kala, but Occulte Fantastique, I think the songs are better written. They just feel more solid, and certainly the production qualities of Occulte Fantastique are superior. Now, there's certainly some literal doomy doom metal songs on Occulte Fantastique, meaning songs that fill you with a sensation of doom or dread. That's a lot of the album. But what we're going to listen to today is a little bit different. In Hell I Will Rule is a doom metal song structurally, but there's an empowering message underneath it, believe it or not. It's a song that tells kind of a story from the perspective of the protagonist or the singer of the song. He basically expresses throughout the song how he will be a ruler of hell someday, going as far as to say that he will inherit hell from his father, and everybody else, the people that have wronged him, everybody else, basically he's separating himself from the rest of the world. The rest of the world will be suffering in hell, where he rules, essentially suffering under him. It's kind of a neat song. On the surface, it may just seem like just another heavy metal song, but there's some depth here once you kind of peel back the layers a little bit. Let's get into that. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about. All right, so let's start by thinking, if one aspired to rule in hell, what sort of qualities should that type of person possess to be a ruler of hell? So the first thing that comes to mind is obviously they would need to be someone that thinks that they are superior to others. Not only superior to others while in hell, but obviously superior to others while on earth as well. So let me think about that. Is that a problem for me if someone has that? No, it's really not. Not everybody is equal. Some people actually are better than others. Equality is a myth. So I'm fine with that. Yeah, if some people want to consider themselves better, if they are better, then they're better. That's fine. What else we got here? So if someone wants to rule in hell, they would need to be a selfish person, right? They would be the kind of person that would think of their needs before somebody else's needs. So again, fair enough. That's not a problem as far as I'm concerned. I'm cool with that. All right, what else? Carnal pleasures. So you're going to hear about some of these carnal pleasures when we get into the lyrics of the song in a minute here. But you'd have to embrace those carnal pleasures. So what does that mean? That's like lust, greed, wrath, basically the 7 deadly sins. And those 7 deadly behaviors, I don't even think you should call them sins, but they're only considered sinful in the context of all the Abrahamic religions. So in other cultures and other historic forms of mythology and everything, not all of those behaviors were really sinful. So I don't care about those either. I'm fine with them. Good, be carnal. Doesn't matter to me. I partake in some of those carnal pleasures as well. The big one, obviously, you would have to not only oppose God, but you would have to actively rebel against him. And the reason I'm thinking that is, if you just don't believe in God, or if you don't believe in God's word, you'll, according to the scriptures and whatnot, you'll go to hell, right? You've got to be believing him to go to heaven. So you're going to go to hell, but that kind of person, I think, would probably be suffering in hell. In order to be a ruler of hell, you'd have to take it a step further. You'd have to actively oppose, rebel, fight against God to be a ruler of hell. So how do I think about that? I gotta be honest, guys, me, John Zaremba here, I don't pick sides. I think God is just as much of a fool as the devil. They're equal. They're both idiots as far as I'm concerned. But the devil probably doesn't care that I think he's an idiot. He probably doesn't care if I think or don't think about him in any way, shape, or form. But God, on the other hand, God's the one that gets offended all the time. God's the one that, if you think he's a fool, you think he's an idiot, he gets hurt feelings, and he's the one that's going to put you under his thumb as a way of getting back at you for just calling him a name or something, right? So that's kind of weak, right? I don't like that. Then I'm also thinking, according to the scripture, if you choose neither God nor the devil, you're going to hell anyways. Like that's the outcome. If you don't care about either of those guys, you're going to hell. So if I'm going to go to hell anyways, I might as well dish it out instead of take it, right? So I'd probably lean on the side of doing what I can to oppose God just so that I could become a ruler of hell. Dish it out, don't take it. I think it's a better outcome for anybody, right? So all of these things I'm talking about, these are all, if you really get down to it, if you really study heavy metal, these are all kind of like heavy metal virtues. Rebelling against God is a reason why that's a thread that runs through so many different subgenres of heavy metal. That's a heavy metal virtue. Carnal pleasures, even being selfish and feeling superior to others, that may not be as like in vogue nowadays. I guess like if you're a Canadian heavy metal band, you probably don't agree with that, but most of the rest of the world, people that are really into heavy metal, that's kind of okay with them. Heavy metal, it kind of prides itself on being a superior form of music. There's a reason why heavy metal survived the 1990s, because of that attitude of superiority. So these are heavy metal virtues that we're talking about here. All this stuff that would make you a ruler of hell is all the same stuff that is woven into your favorite heavy metal songs, assuming you listen to good heavy metal. Okay, very briefly, let's just think about the opposite side of that. So who are the people that are going to suffer in hell? Rather than rule, who's going to go to hell and suffer? The weak. People who are just too helpless to uphold God's word and God's commandment, but at the same time, they're too frail to sort of think for themselves, think on their own behalf, and steer their own ship. Those people are going to be in hell. The non-believing altruists. Think about like someone that holds up a protest sign all the time, or anyone that lobbies for politicians, the do-gooders, those types of people that aren't Christians but are trying to do something for their fellow man all the time, they're going to be suffering in hell as well. The humble, the meek, the people that are deliberately downtrodden. So someone that lives their life as a victim on earth, chooses a life of a victim on earth, certainly they're going to be a victim in hell as well. Basically, if you think about it, just like false metal beta people. That's kind of the people that are going to be suffering in hell. So you got rulers in hell and you got sufferers in hell. What else is left? Well, a tiny fraction of people that might go to heaven, because a lot of people say they've got faith in God. I think a lot of that is just posturing. When it gets right down to the nitty gritty, I think that faith is easily broken on their deathbed or whenever throughout their life. So, but there are some people that have unwavering faith in God. Those people, according to the rules that God created, would be going to heaven. So that's great for them. They're going to heaven, right? But what are they going to do there? They're going to serve in heaven. Like, I don't even get that. You served your entire life here. You did everything possible to get that ticket to heaven, and then you're going to go up there and you're just going to be doing what that guy tells you to do all the time anyways. It's like it's an eternity of servitude. So why would you even want that? Why serve in heaven when you could rule in hell? Makes no sense. Anyways, you know what does rule? This song rules. So let me stop talking. Let's listen to "In Hell I Will Rule."
Upside down, those who once did wrong to me, my role is to rule as king. Your own marionette is a fool, in hell you suffer.
man. Wow. What a wonderful driving riff. Pounding drums. Really thick production. Thick but clear. I mean, it's a wall of sound production, but you could hear what's going on. It's great production on this song, and this whole album sounds this way. But the lyrics, man, the lyrics are really, right off the bat, the first thing that just grabs you with this song. Sacrifice, ritual, incantations, all poetically expressed by the lyricist and guitarist and the songwriter for Briton Rites, Howie Bentley. We're going to get into Howie a little bit more here in a minute, but the chorus of the song, it professes the virtue of vengeance. Those who wronged him will be crucified upside down. What a vision. It's the protagonist against everybody else. Everybody else is a marionette. They're a puppet, but he's not. He's the ruler of hell. Up until this point, though, here's the thing. Up to this point of the song, you don't know, is he talking to you? Like, you personally, you watching this video right now, are you the one that's going to be suffering in hell? Or is he expecting you, the listener, to be the one that is going to be ruling in hell? We don't know yet. Right now, it's kind of up in the air. He could just be condemning you personally, or he could be trying to draw you into the song and have you hear his words and envision that you are, in fact, him, the singer of the song. So we don't know yet. We'll find out here in a moment. Let's go ahead and let's let it play a little bit further. All right, you know, by the guitar solo convinced everybody listening. By that solo, you know that you are, in fact, the one that is ruling in hell. The protagonist of the song is you. You're not being condemned. You are condemning others. That guitar solo just clinched it right there. And it's so great to get such a passionate, heartfelt, wonderful guitar solo so early in a song, rather than just waiting until the typical point of any other song where you could set your watch to when the guitar solo is going to kick in. Right after the first chorus, you got the guitar solo. And there's more to come, too. So, fantastic. Let's keep going.
The longer I sit in blood and water, the longer my stay in hell becomes. I feel my rule in hell grow stronger with the harvesting of the young. Upon my throne in hell, such wonderful sights to see. Human girls and succubi, writhe in sapphic ecstasy. My role is to rule as king. Your own marionette is to fool. In hell you suffer. In hell I will rule. Those who kill themselves are those who hate themselves. Some die in accidents. By my spells to hell be sent. That's the witching art. But now the traveling part. Astral flight I take that night. Destination my delight.
Howie Bentley's lyrics are some of the best written lyrics in heavy metal. If you haven't read his fiction, he writes sword and sorcery fiction. I highly recommend it. If you like this kind of subject matter, his stories are just filled with these types of images and rituals and all of the occult knowledge that he has from studying this stuff for like decades, honestly. There's a great passage in this song like that. I didn't pick up on it the first time I heard it, not even the second time I heard it. It didn't make sense. It didn't click for me. But he says, those who kill themselves are those who hate themselves. Some die in accidents. By my spells to hell be sent. That's the witching art. I didn't quite get what that meant the first time, but it's a really clever way to describe fate manipulation. Essentially from hell, he is witching the deaths of his enemies, but making those deaths seem like they're accidents or suicides. I can't think of a better way to express that sort of thing in music. It's a really, really clever thing that Howie has written into the song. And as the listener now, as you're identifying with the protagonist, and he's expressing the ability to perform these sort of supernatural feats. It convinces you, the listener, that not only you could do that, but you could really do anything at all. That's kind of the benefit of putting impossible feats into art in general. Is even though, I mean, of course, you shouldn't be a retard. Like if you're listening to this and you're a retard, then you're going to do the wrong thing with this sort of belief system. But if you are someone with a level head on your shoulders and you believe you can do anything as a result of listening to songs or watching a film or looking at a painting that expresses these impossible supernatural feats, it's actually something that could be a very positive force for you. It could be an inspiration for you, an inspiration for anyone that's really capable of understanding that stuff. Like I said, don't be a retard. All right, let's keep going. Howie Bentley's guitar solos are always interesting. I mean, midway into the song now, we're halfway through it, we got another great solo. They're always unpredictable, but they're not unpredictable in like a irrational sort of way. They're unpredictable and sensible at the same time, which is a really rare quality. You don't quite know where the solo is going to end up. I always enjoy them. Cauldron Born, his other band, certainly more popular than Briton Rites. I think it's safe to say they're much more of a traditional heavy metal band. His guitar work in Cauldron Born is also amazing. So if you haven't heard of Cauldron Born, if you've been living under a rock or something like that, check out Cauldron Born if you like this sort of thing. I love that instrumental section and the bass solo, and then it just comes right back to more sinful lyrics. The image of his father's kingdom being laid out to him. I imagine him, or me, or you. I imagine you, because you are him, just from some vantage point, just overlooking just like this molten devastation of hell, and just knowing that all was going to be yours. Just a real epic image from that inheritance. Really, really cool lyrics, always. Okay, the song is just about over. It takes a little slight turn here. The last little bit of the song is like more of a traditional Black Sabbath-y sort of doomy feel, and it wraps it up from there. So let's just go ahead and let it play on out, and I'll be back to you in a minute. All right, that was In Hell I Will Rule. So, what is it about hell anyways? Why would anybody want to aspire for a place that has been traditionally described as eternal anguish and torment? Even if your goal is to be the king of hell, why would you want to rule over such a place like that? It sounds like kind of a crummy place to be a king. And furthermore, what does hell even represent to like the everyday person, to the atheist, for example? What does hell represent? Well, if God is the self-proclaimed arbiter and authority over all of existence, and if opposing that authority or just simply not believing that authority is justification for God to doom you to hell, well, somebody in the normal world can extrapolate that type of relationship between man and God and apply it to various other authority figures. It could be applied to your teacher or to your employer or to some sort of gang in your neighborhood or something. It could be applied to the government for that matter. Anyone that tells you that you are wrong and that they have the ability to punish you unjustly simply for not agreeing with them, not believing in them, not believing what they say, not following their orders, well, they're condemning you to a sort of hell on earth, or at least that relationship is the same as the biblical relationship between man and God. So why take it a step further? Why choose to embrace hell or even be a ruler of hell in this case? Well, the assumption is, in this song and in heavy metal in general, is that the condemnation of hell is a result of your own convictions, your ideals. It's the things that you believe in, the things that you enjoy. It's the lust for life that is resulting in your being doomed to hell by God. That's a common thread throughout heavy metal. It's a very rebellious type of music for that reason. So by embracing your convictions, your ideals, you're in a sense embracing hell. And by ruling over hell, you are ruling over your convictions. And this song offers a reward at the end of all of this. So that's like in the lyrics, the narrator or the singer mentions that he will inherit his father's kingdom of hell. What this song promises is that if you stay true to your convictions, whatever they may be, you will ultimately inherit the kingdom of those convictions. You may go through hell on earth, torment and suffering here while staying true to yourself, but ultimately in the end, it promises you that kingdom. And I think if you really get down to it, that is the allure of hell, especially in heavy metal music. That's why it's so appealing, and that's why it's such a common theme in heavy metal. It's because ultimately, ruling in hell is an expression of righteous rebellion against an unjust authority. So, you know what rules? In Hell I Will Rule rules. That song rules. Occulte Fantastique as an album rules. I just appreciate you guys watching me yap on about it for this long. And if I don't see you in the next episode of Czar's Top Shelf, at least I hope that one day I'll get to see you in hell.